All right. So today, see, I'll just tell you an overview of what all we need to cover, and depending on how fast or how easily you're able to grasp the concept, we'll spend time accordingly. So first and foremost thing we are going to do is we will learn how to record a macro. Okay, very important because I can't make you a programmer in 12 hours, kind of mission impossible. But what I can definitely make you understand is how to edit your codes or where to look at and how to read a basic code so that you should be able to edit it. When you pick a code from online, you're able to make heads and tails of what the code is going to do for you. Followed by, we will work on certain programming concepts because a lot of you are not from programming background. So there are some fundamentals of each programming language, and not each program, it's common to all programming language. So we'll cover those fundamentals. Followed by, we will work with Excel objects manipulation. In this, the automation part starts. And this will be mainly what we need to cover up. Okay, so recording of the macros, programming concept, and Excel objects. So today we'll start with recorded macros. Have you heard macros anywhere, the word macro?
Yes.
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 And what does it mean? What does it do?
It will help in extracting data from, somewhere in other sheets or other applications.
It'll help
If we
in
give comments,
extracting the data. Okay.
yes,
And
like
automate
as per the
multiple tasks.
commands.
As per the commands. Okay.
It's help us to automate our work in
It
Excel.
is used for automating our work. All right.
Or,
Yes.
or we can say that macro is like we can record our stepwise procedure, something like that.
It's a set of instructions that can provide, and accordingly macro will work.
Absolutely.
Where the
Faisal
flow
Adam?
of where the flow of work is monotonous, we can automate that.
Absolutely correct. So all of you are correct. Is Power Query and macro the same? Not at all. Power Query is altogether a different ball game as macros. When you say macros, Vikas, macro is basically, it is used to record steps in Excel and repeat the process when called. That is what a macro does. So anything which is which is very monotonous in nature, like what Faisal had used the word monotonous, and anything which is monotonous in nature in our process, instead of doing it manually again and again by ourselves, what we can do is we can teach Excel how to do it. And when we're teaching Excel, we are recording a macro. So we are teaching Excel, it creates a code in the backend by itself. So we are not writing any code in this case. It creates a code, it puts it in the backend, and whenever we need to repeat that particular process, we can call the macro again and it repeats the task for us. So what are the advantages that you can think of?
Time saving.
It's big time saving. So less time required. Let's just put time saving. Okay, what else?
Eradication of human efforts, and it will also reduce the chance of errors.
Reduce the chances of
So reduce errors, increasing
Automation.
efficiency.
Automation.
Yes, automation, increasing efficiency. There's less dependency on the manpower, right? So all these are kind of the advantages that we get over here. Now, before we get into the recording, because recording is super simple, I'm sure all of us, most of us have all those, what do you call it, smartphones. And in smartphones, do you all know how to record a video?
Yes.
Very simple, right? Did you need a tutor or a tutorial to guide you how to use it?
No.
Not at all. Like same way, a macro recording is also pretty much the same process, that we have a record button, we get a stop button, we get a play button.
Yeah.
Okay. And nobody needs to teach you all these things, but there are two types of recordings and few fundamental things that we need to keep in back of our head in order to make a good recording. So what are the types of recording? There are two types of recording. And by the way, this thing that I'm typing in VBA, because I want you 100, not even 100, 200% attention to my work. That's why I write all the notes. Okay, all these notes that I'm writing over here, I will share with you after the end of the class. Whatever codes I will be writing in the class, whatever notes are associated with that codes, everything gets shared with you. So if there's something that I'm not writing, then you can go ahead and write it. But otherwise, all the notes will be written by me. Okay, so there are two types of recording.
Thank you.
You're welcome. One is absolute recording, which is the default recording style, and second one is the relative recording. Now, what is absolute? What is relative? Have you heard about these terms previously in Excel?
Yes.
No, Isha.
Where?
No.
Self-referencing.
Self-referencing. So if I had something like $1, $1, this is absolute.
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 And if I say A1, this is relative. Okay. So somebody, if you could make me understand what is the difference between absolute and relative in terms of Excel. I'm not talking about recording at all.
Like this A1, that absolute is static value, or relative we can say it's a dynamic, we can change.
Right. So if I copy paste A1, or let's say if I had written something like this as $A, $1, and $B, $1, then in this case, when you copy paste the formula to some other cell, the process that we're adding to cell, is it the same or it changes? Can it add 3 cells?
It will be same.
It will be the
Same.
same. So we are
Same
saying
side.
the process is the same. Okay. And when you copy paste in other cells, this process that is happening of adding 2 cells, does it happen on different set of cells or on the same set of cells?
Same
Same
set
set
of.
of cells.
Same set of cells. So when you do absolute, what it does for us is it does the process on the same set of cells where you originally worked. Correct?
Right.
And in case of relative, how does it work?
It will change.
What?
It
The
will-
process?
The cell will keep on
The
changing.
cell will change. Cell number
Process
will
will
also
on
remain
change.
the
which-
same.
Right. Process will remain the same, but the cells on which it is applying the process, that changes, and changes based on what? Your
Cell.
active cell, right? Wherever you copy and paste it, based on that, it changes the cell reference. Correct?
Right.
Right. So the same definition happens when you're talking about recording. So what happens in case of absolute recording? The process is repeated on the same set of cells where the recording was done. And in the second case, the process is repeated on the cells based on active cell. Let's take a small example, very easy to understand. Let's say I started recording. I'm in cell H1 and it's doing a default absolute recording. And in the process of recording, I type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and I stop recording. Okay. Now, when I run the macro to repeat the process, what do you think it will do?
Write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 once again.
It will write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 once again, but from where?
From where you have
H.
left, where you have
H1.
put your cursor.
So H6.
H6.
Right. H6.
All of you agree to that? It's going to be H6.
Yes.
No, it will be
No,
H1
it
if
will
it is
be
absolute.
H1.
Until
Correct.
unless
It will
defined
be
relative.
H1 because
If
what is
it's-
this? This is absolute recording. So in
Yes.
absolute recording, it has to run on the same set of cells. So it will go back to H1 and again repeat the process of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mhm.
Right? But if I had recorded this as a relative reference or a relative recording, and I ended up on H6 and I run the macro again, now what would happen?
It will start from H6.
It will start from H6 because that is my active cell. So it has to repeat the process. What is the process? I have to enter number 1 to 5 vertically. But from where? Based on the active cell position. So active cell is H6. So it starts from here and puts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah? Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So, what could be the use of absolute recording? Like, why would we, use absolute recording at all, where it works on the same set of cells and the process is also repeated again? What could be the use case, or what was the business use of it?
If we want to repeat something again and again, then
Why in the same cell or set of cells? Why? Who wants to repeat on the same set of cells?
If data is
changing.
changing, then we using the relative.
Data ideally should be changing in both relative and absolute, right? We are not saying the data is the same and we are repeating our work. That is of no use. So obviously something changed, and that's the reason we want to repeat the process again. So
Any
whether it's
periodic
absolute,
change
whether
in
it's
data?
relative, data should be changing.
Any periodic change in data on that? Like if we are monitoring something in a hourly or dashboards,
okay,
in every 30 minutes or 1 hour, then it should run the program again.
Then it should be absolute or relative?
Should be relative.
Relative. So your dashboard elements should keep on changing, or should be there where you started off?
It should keep on changing.
The elements of dashboard values will keep on changing, but the basic elements of your design or your report should change or should remain stagnant.
That shouldn't change.
That shouldn't change, right? So anytime you think about reports, when you create reports, whether it's a weekly report or a monthly report or a quarterly report, does your design of the report keeps on constantly changing?
No.
Or only the values from where you're creating the numbers in your report that changes?
Only
The values
Only the number changes, right? But
Right.
basic design is absolutely constant. So if the basic placeholders are constant, basic elements are constant, basic calculation areas are constant, then what should we use? Absolute or relative?
Absolute.
You should use absolute. So what is the use case of absolute? The use case is anywhere where you're doing reporting or any product that you're creating which has static design. Okay, static placeholders for each and every value that you're calculating. So when we say that it is going to repeat on the same set of cells, it does repeat on the same set of cells. However, it is not mandatory to repeat on same sheet. So I could go to sheet 2, because then only we will be able to create multiple reports. Otherwise, we will be stuck in one report. So when I go to sheet 2 and I run the macro, it will automatically go to H1 and start working. So that's the reason we will go with absolute recording. So it is going to work on fixed sets of cells, but it's not necessary it has to work on the same sheet. Okay, and relative is when the set of cells on which you are working are constantly changing. The position is changing. The value, of course, is going to be different in both the cases, but the position is also changing constantly, where your working is changing constantly. Then we use relative reference. Okay, now let me ask you, this sheet is there with you also in the LMS. So in the LMS, if you go to sleepy already. Don't pass it on to others. Today I had lunch and I'm sitting, I'm very worried. Normally I don't eat lunch before my trainings.
So in LMS, we have only book notes and record macros.
Yes, recorded macros. This is a class exercise. And over here, you will find the same exercise workbook on which I'm showing you right now.
Okay.
Okay, macro exercise. So let me explain you this data. It's got your headers like first, last, address, city, state, zip code, phone number, and 2 email ID. And at the bottom, I've got a record for the first name, last name, same information that is given up on the headers, given up over here. So if I get a data in this format where each record is kept in a single column, is it of any use to me? Can I do any kind of analysis in Excel?
No.
What should I do?
You need to like place each and every data in a respective field, then you can do
You need to sort the data.
Sort the data. Even sorting won't happen because it's not even structured right now.
Yes, transpose the data.
I need to transpose the data. Basically, I need to create a structure. Structured data is the one which can be arranged in proper rows and columns. This is not a structured data as of now.
And what
Right,
happened,
and
Nishani?
Excel-
And Nishani, what happened? Like, we can see the entire data, like name and addresses, in like in different fields. But somehow, like, if I place the name in the last field, then
Like, why would you place it in the last field?
if I have the data where like if I receive the scattered data where the name is not like I have few example in my like in my for the client I'm working, I have the similar kind of a data, but in a data like the name or the last name can be like in a different rows and column. So
But every time that happens, because basically, if you want to record a code or if you want to write a code, there has to be some pattern in the data. So it may be that, okay, the first and the last name don't happen to be in the same column, but they may be in a different column. But however, all the first names are in those column and all the last names are in that column.
okay,
Is that the case?
no, it's not a case like in our case like we can find address on a different field, different row or column, or like name in a different row or column. Like,
But how would you like? How do you? There has to be a mechanism to understand. If you want to automate it, then there has to be some kind of pattern you need to detect in your data.
okay,
Because without that, you can't write codes.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So probably again, same request I'm going to do it for you also that I did yesterday. That if you make a dummy data set for me, then I can, kind of tell you if you put 2-3 records, then probably I can see if there is any pattern we can come up with, and then we can write a code for that.
Sure, Shani. Yeah.
Okay, but those kind of codes you have to handwrite. Recording macros is not that super smart also.
Okay.
All right. So coming back to this question, let's say this is the data. In order to work with this, my first and foremost thing is I need to structure the data. So how can I structure the data? I'm going to copy it. I will go to the one cell up, right click, paste special, and transpose. Right? I'm going to transpose it. What is transposing? Converting vertical into horizontal or vice versa. Once I've transposed, do I need this? No. So I'm going to select this. And if you press Control minus, it gives you this window of deleting. And I want to delete the entire row. So I'm going to go with the third choice and press Enter. And I've deleted. Now, what should I do next? Start working with the next record. So this work is repetitive. Yes or no?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So can I record should I record a macro for this?
Yes.
Yes.
I should, right? Anything which is repetitive, we should think of macros. So tell me, before we start recording the macros, what kind of macro recording should I do for this? Should it be relative or absolute?
Relative.
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 I think it should be
Why it should
absolute
be
because
relative?
Should be absolute.
Because the pattern is kind of same.
yeah, that's what I thought.
But if
Pattern
you
is the
do,
same.
if you do absolute, but it will be based on the
The
field
values are not
and
gonna change.
row.
Then
The
it will
values
be
are not gonna
pasting
change
in
in the
A2
field.
always.
So every time the action itself is changing, that's why we would use relative referencing.
Pattern is same, but the cells are different, hence relative. Okay.
Yes.
See, pattern has to be the same. You're teaching something, like if you're teaching something to a robot, do you think, you can teach it something and tell it to work on some other pattern? No. The pattern needs to be same for the recorded macros to even work. But what is changing, like rightly said, we are working on the first set of cells, we are working from B3 to B11. In the next set, are you going to work on the same set of cells?
No.
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 Yes.
When you have copied and pasted your copy pasting on B2, will you be pasting everything in B2?
No.
No.
No. So the set of cells on which you're working, is it constant or changing?
Changing.
Changing.
It is changing. Hence, it is relative.
Relative.
Is it clear?
Yep.
Yes.
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 Girish, Govind, Manoj,
Yes, all please.
Merin,
Yes, Ishani.
right? All good. Shubham, Yash, Manoj. Okay. So this is it is a relative recording. Okay, now before we start to do the recording, before I teach you recording, few tips that you need to keep in your mind. These are not from a book. This is my experience telling that if I don't keep these things in mind, I end up being getting a very bad code. So tip number 1, always dry run the process. And I'll explain my terminology always. Pick a proper start cell. Pick an appropriate selection method. And number 4, avoid unnecessary work or actions. Okay, what does the first one mean? So a very simple example, let's say I'm recording a video of someone dancing, and in between the video, the person fell down. Do you think that video part, that particular seconds in which the person fell down and got up again, that gets recorded or omitted by itself?
It gets recorded.
It gets recorded, right?
Yeah.
Same thing happens when you're recording a macro. If you're doing mistakes while recording the macros, Excel is not going to give a differentiation saying, okay, this is a mistake, so let's ignore this code particularly. So what it does, it keeps on recording and keeps on writing all the codes. So what I mean by dry run the process is first understand what exactly you need to record, because if that understanding is clear, minute steps are clear, okay, I'll do this, then I'll do this, then this is how I'm going to delete, this is how I'm going to transpose. If that process is clear, the chances that you make mistake while recording will be very, very, very less, and that's good for us. So that's why always dry run the process. Second is pick a proper start cell. So let's say if I'm in cell G7, okay, and I've started recording, what do you think will be my next step?
Go to the
To go on B.
I'll go to B2.
First,
right?
B2.
I'll go to B2 and I'll start working. So this step from going from G7 to B2, do you think got recorded?
Yes.
Yes.
Got
This is
recorded.
necessary.
Do you think it's harmful?
Yes.
How?
It's not harmful. It's just an additional step that,
It's just an additional
Not
step,
required.
matter of very less seconds. So it's not harmful. Is it? It is
will go
harmful.
again. It will go
What if
again
we
and
start
again.
with B3 only?
It will
always start with
be, yes, it will be harmful. Why it will be harmful? Because the first time unknowingly you were in G7 and you came to the right position to start working. But do you think when you are trying to run the macro on the next record, you will go and sit somewhere in column G?
Nope.
No,
No.
you will be right over here and ready to run your macro. Now, when the cell is B12, what you had ideally taught Excel is go so many rows on the top and so many columns to the left. That's what you taught Excel as the first step. From here, it's going to try and do the same thing. Go up and go left. Can it go left?
No.
No. So it will throw a runtime error at you. Okay. Now let's say even if there were columns to the left that did exist, then what is the problem? The problem is now you shifted away from the data on which you wanted to work. Correct? So in both the cases, it's a bad thing that happened. So that's the reason I request everyone to, before you start recording. So once the recording is started, whatever you do, whatever, steps you take, they get recorded. So you have to be conscious before recording, be in a proper start cell. Like I would always be in this cell for this particular work, because I will start with the blank cell and I'll be ending with a blank cell, which becomes the start cell for the second record.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the reason I want to be in B2 and not B3. Next is pick an appropriate selection method. Selection method could be shift and a down arrow key, or it could be shift, control shift, down arrow key. What's the difference between the two for Excel? For us, I know we say it's time saving and all those things, but for Excel, how does Excel differentiate between your two steps?
He's directly going to 11 instead of reading all the cells coming in.
4, 5, 6, 7 instead of really taking all the cells.
So in one, I'm not clear. Ankita, what's the difference?
So I'm saying that when we just do control shift down arrow, then the cell, it's automatically selecting from 3 to 11. However,
Right.
if you go by single cells, it will read everything from 3, 4, 5 and then go.
Okay. And what about the second instance?
Second instance.
As in when we are doing shift and a down arrow key one by one, then what is happening?
It has to travel through
It has
each
to
cell.
travel, yes, each cell and then reach to the final destination.
So how does it read it? So when you're doing shift and down, 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 you're giving an opportunity for the Excel to count the number of cells you're working on. Okay, when you do shift down arrow, it is counting and it will always remember that what it has to select 9 cells, what it has to transpose 9 cells. So it has got 9 in its memory now. But when you use control shift down arrow key, because there is no counting mechanism is what? I have to keep selecting till I hit an empty cell. So there is no count. So whether you are working with this program later on with 5 cells or 20 cells, your program will still work. But if you had done shift and 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, then all the time when you're trying to run this macro, it will pick up 9 records irrespective where the data is.
Yep.
Okay. Prasad, is it clear?
Yeah.
Right. Arshad?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So,
Imran?
Shani,
Yes,
what
Tarun.
should be the best approach for this?
So
Should
they
we record
cannot be.
9 cells?
So see, that's why I didn't say pick a proper or pick a right selection method. I said appropriate. Why I use this word? Because what if my data did not have any empty cells in the middle? Right? I cannot use control shift down arrow at all. Or what if there are some missing values in between some records? Again, I can't use a control shift down arrow. So that's why when Vikas was also talking about his work problem, I said you really, when you record a macro, when you write a code, first and foremost thing we have to do is we have to understand what is the pattern of the data. Till we have not identified the pattern of the data properly, we can't code or we can't even record it. All right, Tarun. So there is no right thing to do. It depends on how the data is, and then you decide what the selection method should be.
Okay, sure.
Okay. And last thing I said, avoid anything which is unnecessary. We all are creatures of habit. So sometimes I see, when people are thinking, they scroll up and scroll down to see how much is left. So all the things that you are going to do like this, changing of the sheets, clicking on any tools or clicking on any workbooks, each and every step gets recorded in your macro, everything. So unnecessary you're putting the codes which are not ready required for your work, and the processing slows down, unnecessary lines of codes are there. So try to avoid these kind of work. Okay. All right.
Shani.
Ready to record?
Yes, Ishan.
So don't do it with me now. First, let me finish it because there's some more things I'll keep talking about. Once I'm done, you have the data, you can do the recording. So where is the recording? It's in the view tab.
At the end, macro.
At the end, macro. Hold on, let me get all the things out of my way. View, macro, and record macro. But before record macro, what do we need to do?
We have to give a command to select a key or specific something.
No. What kind of recording is this? We decided, right?
Relative.
Use relative reference.
By default, it is what?
Absolute.
Absolute. So first thing we need to do is switch to relative reference.
Yes.
Okay,
I was
so
about
it
to
is
ask this because I had this question because when I recorded my macro, I just used record a macro button and I just started recording without thinking whether the data is relative or absolute.
Right. Now onwards, there's going to be a conscious decision on what kind of recording is there. So first thing we need to do is use relative reference. So do you see this icon on my screen? So there is an icon, the rectangle, and there's a white space around it. Now when I click on it one time, now you check it out. Oh, wrong place. Now you see there's a small, very light green outline around it.
Yes.
Yes, if not on my screen, see it on your screen. When you click on it, you will see a green outline. And if I click on it once again and go back, now that green light is gone. So if it's like almost like you're pressing a button, right? If you pressed in, it's relative. If you press it again, it comes out and it's back in its absolute mode. So I'm going to make it relative. Then I'll go ahead and record. Macro 1, good name?
You can name it.
No.
You can name it what you are doing.
Exactly. Macro 1, imagine if Excel was given to us as tools as T1, T2, T3, T4, and not the names of sort and filter, our life would be very, very tough. So if you leave macro 1, today you might not see the effect of it, but tomorrow or day, let's say after 1 week, if you wanted to remember which macro consisted of what steps, you will never be able to remember it, right? So always give the name to your macros as per what the content is going to be. And when you're naming,
Transpose
you
the
can't
data.
have, yes, but you can't write transpose space data. You can't write spaces in Excel or in VBA. So it could be transpose underscore data or one word.
Underscore data is fine.
Underscore is fine, dot works, underscore works, but mostly people in practice use underscore more than dot. Because
Why we-
Excel by default, it does underscore by itself. It doesn't use dots.
Why are we using this? Sorry, I missed it.
To give the name, because Excel or VBA does not allow you to use spaces.
Okay.
And
So we
there's
need to do-
another set of theory why spaces are not required, why it's not accepted.
Okay.
Okay. Next comes the shortcut key. So why I need the shortcut key? Yes, sure.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I use also instead of writing a text? Can I say 1, 2, 3?
Symbol.
No. So I'll tell you the rules. Because you will have to follow it in Excel and VBA both. Rules are no spaces, no special character except underscore or dot. Number 3, no starting with numbers. I can't say 1, 2, 3, but I can say AB 1, 2, 3. So numbers are allowed, but you can't start with the numbers. And number 4, not more than 255 characters. This one is hard to break. Even if you don't remember 4th one, you will survive. But first 3 you need to remember. No spaces, no special characters except for underscore and dot, and no starting with numbers. All right. Okay, so we go back. View. It's already in relative, so I'll go ahead and record it. So we said, let's give a proper name, transpose underscore data. Let's give a shortcut key. Now, why do we need a shortcut key? Because every code that a macro records goes in the backend of Excel. So what is more convenient? To use a shortcut key or to visit the backend of Excel, find your program and then run it from there? Obviously, the shortcut key. All we are trying to do is reduce on our time of our work. So we want to give shortcut key. So what are the acceptable shortcut keys? You can do control plus A to Z, any alphabet with the control key, or you can do control and to put capital alphabet, you need to press shift and capital A to Z. These are the combinations. You can't have 2 alphabets. You can't have numbers. You can't have number and alphabet. You can't have 2 numbers, nothing like that. Only control with one of the alphabet from A to Z or control shift with capital A to Z. If I put control C, good choice, bad choice?
Bad choice.
Bad choice.
Bad choice.
Control.
Copy.
It's like for copy.
Yeah.
It is used for copy. Now, what do you think it will do? Will it warn me you're doing a bad work? Or will it say, go ahead?
Copy.
Nothing will happen.
Control M.
Control Q. That's what I use a lot.
Control
Control.
Q.
We can use control shift and any
No, but my
control.
question is what it will do to control C. Will it
will
allow
change
me to
because
use it and
It,
not
it will
warn
it will
me?
allow it will
I
allow
think
in
yes.
a later
Yeah.
it
will
will
allow.
not
It
use
will.
for
It will.
copy.
But it will not copy.
Right.
Correct. So it will allow. See, the entire application is built by VBA as a scripting language. So whenever you do programming, it can overwrite the existing features of your application, right? And same way, if I give control C, I'm going to override the basic functionality of control C. When the code is open, if the code is closed, control C regains its own, whatever the normal thing of copy was. But as long as this code is open, control C will always do a transpose. So be a little careful. Things that you use on a daily basis, never put that as a shortcut key of your macros. Safest is if you use shift to make, if you press shift on your keyboard to put capital C, it automatically becomes control shift C, and very very few shortcuts are with shift key. So this is relatively safer to do. Okay. Any questions so far?
So can you please repeat once again how you use control plus shift plus C?
So
How you use?
So if let's say if I want to put capital C over here, what do I need to press on my keyboard? Shift and C.
Shift C.
As soon as you press shift and C on your keyboard over here, it becomes control shift.
Okay.
Okay. Now
Ishani, what do you mean by saying that when the code is open?
When the code is open is when, see, the codes are stored where? It's stored in the backend of your workbook. Right? So for any code to run, the code has to be open. Means in this case, the workbook has to be open.
Okay.
If the workbook is closed, means the code is not active.
Okay.
And if it's not active, it can't run.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I thought that if the macro does its function or finishes its function, then it allows us to copy.
No. So let's say if I'm storing this code in this particular workbook, the macro exercise, right? And I should not have done it over here. Hold on. So if I do work with this code in this macro exercise workbook, and I store the code over here. So whenever I open this workbook, that is the time your code will be active.
Okay.
So this
Otherwise, it won't be active.
It will be active on sheet 1, 2, 3, any sheet.
All
in this workbook.
We will discuss all those technical details. There's more to it. Not just this sheet. We'll talk about all the workbooks also. How does it react?
Okay.
Should we keep into mind caps lock in this? All caps. Yes, you can put all caps also. No problem. So let's go back. View. Sorry, I shifted my sheet. So record macro. Transpose data. Reset control shift C. And let me put the notes once again over here. This is notes, okay? You don't really have to write this thing for it to work.
So whatever we put our code, we can write here for our knowledge.
Yes, for our understanding or remembering what is it, we can put in description.
Okay.
So we click OK. Now, once I've clicked OK, no timer is clicking, but whatever I do, I have to make sure I minimize my mistakes because all the mistakes get recorded. So I'm going to go one cell down, select, copy, again go one cell up because I can't transpose in the same area. I'm using a shortcut key for transpose, which is Alt E S E. Okay. I'm going to come one cell down again, select, press Control minus, and I want to delete the entire row. So if you use the delete of your keyboard, it does clear content. I don't want to clear content. I want to delete the cells. So I'll go ahead and delete the cells and stop right here. Once I'm done with this, before I run the code, I have to make sure I stop recording. So how can you stop recording? Do you see a stop button at the bottom next to ready word?
Yes.
So either you go here or you go back to your view, and instead of record, it has now become stop. Okay, so we can stop recording. Shortcut key was Control Shift C. So whenever I press Control Shift C, my work gets done.
So we have to remember all the shortcut keys while doing this recording.
All the shortcut keys as in?
Right, you have copied.
We have done this work now.
Basically, my thought process, if you don't know about anything, if you don't know that there's a shortcut key in Excel, then you'll never miss it also, right? Yes or no? Let's say Control C, Control V is our daily bread and butter.
Right.
So if I overwrite, I'll feel hurt. But if there is some shortcut key which I've never used in my life, and if I overwrite it with this one, how does it matter? It doesn't matter.
No, I am not asking that. I am asking that you are, while recording, you have used shortcut keys. If we don't know that shortcut keys, can we do?
We will talk about that. Don't worry. We'll have solutions for everything.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, we can't bank on our memory to remember each and every shortcut key. So we'll work around it.
So like while recording, can we go manually and record?
Manually and record as in?
Like you have selected shortcut keys for cutting it. Sorry, pasting it, right? To transport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You mean right click and all that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing.
Okay.
Shani, I have one question. So let's assume that we recorded something and now, we want to change, make some little bit of tweaks in that. So can we make some edits in the recorded
Absolutely.
macros?
Yes. So we will talk about that. Okay. So first I want is, since you have only 5 more minutes with me, I want everyone to record a macro. You all already have the sheet. In case when you're running it, you have an error, don't close your file. You need to share your screen with me so that I can tell you exactly at what step you went wrong. Okay, if everyone could do this exercise.
File कहाँ पे?
LMS.
So I'm in LMS, but somehow like Genpact restrict your files. I'm not sure. Like even I can open the previous files, but over there there is a problem. Like Genpact is not allowing me to open that.
I have the download on.
The
Can
chat
someone help me in circulating this? Someone has downloaded, can put it in the WhatsApp group that you have. Anyone wants to volunteer for this?
Recorded macros.
I'm just downloading it.
Shani, you can send it to me. I will forward it to Vinay and I will put it in the group.
All right.
Shani, I'm getting an error to enroll in the course to unlock. So I don't know, my content is logged.
That's strange. But you were able to see the program, right? 1 second. Where would I keep it?
I can't see any file with the name macro exercise.
It's in class exercise.
No, we are not able to see. We are able to record macro.
Yeah.
So I have five.
So
five
Ankita, you're
heads
not there. How come you're not there? Did you get the first LMS?
Yes, I was there. That
How
one.
can you get missed? 1 second. Because once you all are in one LMS, we just have to put the same name everywhere. Ankita Chabra, right?
Yes.
Before we start recording a macro, should we, as a good practice, position the cursor? Start. Okay.
Start position has to be proper, right?
Yes.
Ankita, now try.
Thank you so much. Let me try.
Okay, let me try.
Shani, in my class exercise, I don't have any macro file here.
Can I send macro file on this
WhatsApp group?
Shani, can I share my screen? Like the problem that I'm facing.
Yes, 1 second. If you have problem in getting the file, first share that and then we'll share the macro problems.
You can see that.
Go to books and notes, go to class exercise, recorded macros. Download this.
Yeah, I can download this, but
That's it.
what about like other link like book and notes?
Books and notes, what is it giving to you? Click here again.
Let me show you.
So this is a PDF. Nothing is viewed. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me make it downloadable. And then after this class, I'll make it downloadable so that you can download it since you're able to download the files.
Yeah.
Then you can see.
Ishani, question.
Yes.
It was done, but it was relatively very slow. I mean, considering what you did. Any reason?
When you were running it, it was slow.
Yeah, yeah.
The same goes with me.
You see, yours were very fast. Means it was like going in a second, but we were just like
pressed
pushing.
very fast, probably.
Okay.
Did you put any? Did you have to do any manual step in the middle? No.
No, no.
Then it depends. Like I was just pressing Control C, Control C. Nothing.
I did stop in between for something. Was it the reason? Could be.
For when you're recording?
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. Recording, you can take whatever time you want. Execution will be fast. It just has to run the line by line by line.
Okay. Okay, maybe in the next one we can check.
I don't have macro file in class exercise. Amit, can you share your screen? One second. You are in still advanced Excel, so definitely you will not have anything. Amit, there's a second classroom or a second course that got created today, and you should be a part of it. Go back to your sign-in screen.
Okay. Or do I need to turn on synchronize? Or I need to log out?
Nothing. If you just go to your sign-in initial, where the home page is, you should be able to see two courses. You're still in Excel, right? There should be some place to go to your home page. You're still in Excel. Now you see two of them. Hold on.
Just a second.
If anybody does not have a question and you were able to run or record and run the program successfully, you can leave. I think Excel VBA has, as usual, dropped no. He had a meeting, so he had told me to do that work for him. Hold on 1 second, okay? Don't run. Need to Excel VBA.
Shani, I have a question.
Sure, 1 second. For people who want to leave, so that you can give your feedback since Excel VBA is not there. Where am I? Over here. So on and this. Okay. The survey link. In case you're done, you don't have any question, your program is running fine, you can leave. Yes. You had a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Tell me.
So I'm not able to see the green button. You are saying that while using the relative reference, you will see the green. I'm not able to distinguish between that.
Show me your screen. So 1 second. Amit, you're still in Excel only. Show the screen
This
a
is
little
the
up.
first screen I got when I click on the LMS link.
Okay, click once. What is it written? Edit profile. Manage subscription. Go to manage.
Okay.
No. How did you others get it? Since I always see it from the admin side, sometimes I'm very confused about the other side. Is there a way to go to your home? Just sign in again once, please.
Okay. Okay.
Shani, can I share my screen?
Sure. All right. So go to macros. Hold on. So if you Put the cursor on top of it, you can't see the difference. Move it away. Yes, now you see the grayed area. So yours is 2016 Excel, I think. That's why 2016 has gray, then they came back to green. They were orange, then green, then gray, now back to green. So that grayed area also signifies its relative reference.
Okay, so it's a gray area means we are using relative.
Correct. So any kind of color around the icon means it's relative reference.
Okay, thank you.
All
So
right.
Ishani, in my case, in fact, even that is not being great. But yes, when we click on huge relative reference, that will be great. So
Show me your screen.
Yeah, I just kept till. Yeah, let me just.
Amit, were you able to find your classroom?
I'm just login again.
Sure.
And now I can see the automation of Excel using VBA.
Yes. So be in that, and there you will see class exercise recorded macro.
Class exercise record. Yeah, got it.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
click on macro, Shweta. So again, yours is also great. So this is relative reference.
This one is great.
Yeah, this part only. If you if you hover on any top of anything, that becomes gray automatically, right? We are seeing, okay, if we are not on top of it, still there is a gray line around it.
Yes.
So this is a grayed area.
Ishani, one question. I know it's too early to ask. Usually what happens with my macro is, or coding, is that it makes the file very bulky. So is there a way to reduce the file or the coding space?
So it depends on, see, coding will not take a lot of space, but what are you creating using the codes matter. So for example, if you're doing a lot of pivots with the codes or making a lot of charts with the code, that makes your files bulkier. If you're putting formulas and you're not removing the formulas and keeping the value, that makes the file bulkier. Codes as such won't make your file very bulky. What process you're doing with your codes is what's going to make it bulky.
So basically, it happens when I use a if conditions in.
And you're leaving the formulas, right?
Yes, I'm leaving the formula.
That's what is making it bulky. And if you have a huge amount of data, then it makes it very bulky files. It's not because of the codes.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Can I share
Thank
my
you, Shani.
screen?
Thank
You're
you, Shani.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Vikas, I think you
Bye.
want to share your screen once.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Shani.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So Ishani, are you able to view my screen?
Yes.
I record the macro, but like somehow the short key that I have inbuilt, like shift control and T is not working over here. No, now it's working.
No, it's not working properly. Hold on. So you have done, you know what mistake you did? When you were deleting, you selected the numbers and you started deleting. As a result of it, once you delete it, your column A cell becomes your active cell. And every time manually you have to come to column B.
Okay.
Did you notice that?
Yes,
Just
yes.
run it again. Now you see automatically A14 is active.
Yeah.
If you run it again now, it will not work. But if you click on B14, it will work.
It will work. Right.
So that's a manual intervention you've created for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so ideally it should have been you select yourself and right click and delete instead of selecting the entire row from here.
Okay. I will do that.
All right.
Shani, it's done.
Done. Okay, great. Anyone needs my help? Yes.
You help us to record a macro, but somehow in a similar sheet, I want to delete this macro. How can I do that? And rerun or re-record?
So if you want to delete this, I was going to do on Monday. Today is what, Friday?
Okay.
Yeah, today is Friday. I was going to do it on Monday, but just very quickly, since you are asking it, you can go to view and you can go to your view macros.
Yeah.
View macros, if you want to delete something, select and delete.
Okay, got it.
Hi, Shani.
I need help in this. Yes.
I recorded the macro, but I am unable to use.
Unable to use it. Okay. Can you share your screen? Ankita, I'll help you next.
Okay.
All right.
It is not working.
Hold on, I can't see anything right now. It says started sharing the screen. So it's still, yeah, now it's okay. Okay, can you give me the access so that I can quickly find out what happened?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. I think your deleting is not correct. Which one is the latest one?
Second one.
The macro one.
Yeah.
Active cell, you went down, you selected, you came up, you did paste special, you didn't delete.
Yeah, I didn't delete.
So how will you delete? Manually?
I don't know.
So you've not recorded the macro correctly. See, whatever you want the macro to do, you have to make sure the macro knows it, right? So all you have done is you are going one step down, you're selecting the cells, you're going one step up and transposing, and that's it. The rest of the stuff you have to do it yourself. So that's not a good thing, right? So what I would request you to do is, hold on. Let's go ahead and cancel. Let's go ahead and delete this macro of yours. And you will have to go and record once again, where you will have to record all your steps. So I'm just going to go ahead, delete. Yes. Hold on, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Your macro is at relative. Yes. Start recording now. Okay. Transpose, okay, yes, okay. Select the cells again, just like how you selected to copy it.
This one?
No, the one on the top, Jerry.
Again?
Yes. Right click. Delete.
So Ishani, in this case, he selected the
not
rows
left.
like.
Hold on. Not left. You have to delete the cells like this vertically, because in the left you will. Okay, don't do undo. Okay, right click. Delete and delete the row, not left. The third one, yes. Okay. Now place the cursor at B3, the empty cell. Correct. B3, 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 upper, one step up. Yes. Stop recording. Control W. Okay.
Yes, now working.
All right. Yes, somebody had a question.
Yeah, I was thinking like Ishani, instead of like selecting the entire range, he selected the rows. Like so, macro will count in numbers of rows.
Yes. So if
1, 2, 3,
when I looked at his program, it was clearly written A1 to A9. So it is counting 9 cells. It is. Okay. So if he tries to run this code somewhere else where there are not 9 cells, it won't work very well.
Okay.
Okay. All good then. So I'll see you guys on Monday. You guys have a good weekend.
Okay, Shani.
Thank you. Take
Shani,
care. Yes.
Shani, one more thing I want to ask. If there is any space in between this, so we should put select one by one, or here we have selected shift all, control shift and
Control Shift down arrow key. Oh, you're
Right.
meaning over here the selection method proper one would be Control Shift down arrow key.
No, I'm saying here there is no space in between.
Correct.
So if there is any space in between, that work function will stop there only in between.
Yes. So you should then use Shift and
One by
down
one.
arrow key. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Ankita, please share your screen.
Is it visible?
Yes. So in VBA, if you click on this automation of Excel using VBA. Ooh, I gave you wrong one. Sorry. My bad. Sorry, I gave you
I
the
love your
wrong.
reaction.
I was like, lectures are there. Interesting. So wrong.
Yeah, and
Wrong.
when I opened it, it's like filled with PDFs and all these things. I was like,
Yeah.
what is
So you could have done an advanced study with this. These are all my recorded lectures.
Oh, I'm not ready for that yet.
Okay, 1 second. Let me. Yeah. Yes, this one is wrong. Unenroll. The one I wanted to give was this one. Yes, now you should be able to find that file.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, this is the one.
Yep. All right. Take care, guys. I'll see you on Monday then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Shani. Bye.
Thank you.
Kadashan.